The yellow corgi's fantastic treasure hunt. The morning sunlight filtered through the small porthole of the ship. Waking the sleeping yellow corgi, he stretched lazily, his fluffy body twisting on the soft ship's blanket. Today was the day he had been eagerly awaiting, an adventure of a lifetime. The yellow corgi's owner was a retired archaeologist who had recently received a mysterious old map. The map was carefully preserved in a rusty metal box, covered with enigmatic symbols and blurry geographical markers. The owner had originally planned to explore the site himself, but his advancing age no longer allowed such a challenging expedition, and so, this brave yellow corgi became the hero of this adventure. Yellow corgi, the owner said solemnly, this map might hold a secret from a century ago. I need you to help me complete this unfinished dream. With that, he dressed the yellow corgi in a specially tailored expedition vest, complete with a small compass and a waterproof map case. At the dock, an aged sailboat was waiting. The captain was an experienced seal who had heard about the yellow corgi's upcoming adventure. Are you ready? The captain asked in a low, gentle voice. The yellow corgi nodded firmly, his eyes sparkling with wisdom and courage. The voyage did not start smoothly. The sea was covered with dark clouds, and massive waves occasionally crashed against the ship's hull. The yellow corgi stood at the bow, resolutely looking into the distance. He was not afraid. Instead, he was filled with anticipation for the adventure ahead. The captain occasionally glanced at the little dog, surprised by his composure and bravery. 3 days later, a foggy island finally appeared on the horizon. The island was surrounded by thick mist, looking mysterious and dangerous. The yellow corgi pulled out the map, carefully comparing the markings with the terrain before him. He noticed special geographical features marked on the map: a uniquely shaped reef, a dense forest, and several areas that looked like natural caves. Landing was a challenge. The captain found a relatively gentle beach to help the yellow corgi disembark safely. Once ashore, the yellow corgi immediately checked his equipment. His backpack contained a first aid kit, some dry rations, a water bottle, and tools specially prepared by his owner, including a magnifying glass and exploration equipment. The jungle was extraordinarily dense, with various plants intricately intertwined. The yellow corgi had to move carefully. His small size became an advantage. He could squeeze through narrow spaces that other explorers couldn't access. After several hours of difficult navigation, the yellow corgi finally found the first location marked on the map: a massive reef with a peculiar shape. On the back of the reef, he discovered some barely noticeable marks that looked like artificial carvings. Using his magnifying glass, he carefully examined them and found that these marks were actually tiny symbols. Surprisingly, these symbols closely resembled parts of the map. He realized this might be a crucial clue. The yellow corgi began meticulously recording and photographing these symbols, hoping they would provide guidance for the next stage of exploration. Despite the blazing sun, he remained undeterred and focused. As evening approached, the yellow corgi found a natural cave. The entrance was hidden by dense vegetation, which would have been easily overlooked without his keen sense of smell and observational skills. Entering the cave required caution. He turned on his miniature flashlight and proceeded step by step. The cave's interior was unexpectedly spacious. The walls were covered with ancient murals depicting scenes that were difficult to comprehend, seemingly the history of an ancient civilization. The yellow corgi used his specially waterproofed camera to document these images, knowing these discoveries would be incredibly precious to his owner. Deep within the cave, the yellow corgi discovered a small stone platform. On the platform sat an ancient metal box, seemingly corroded by years of neglect. He carefully opened the box, finding inside a stack of yellowed parchment documents and several old coins. These discoveries were far more important than the yellow corgi had initially imagined. He realized he was not just completing a treasure hunt, but also helping to fill in unknown fragments of human history. When returning to the ship, the captain had already prepared a celebratory dinner. The yellow corgi was exhausted but excited. He knew he had completed an incredible adventure. On the deck, he gazed at the starry sky, recalling the details of his journey, the meaning of adventure. For the yellow corgi, this expedition was more than just finding treasure. It was the realization of a dream. He proved that courage, wisdom, and persistence are the most valuable qualities. Even a small corgi could complete what seemed impossible. In a distant home, his owner was waiting for his return, eager to hear every detail of this wonderful journey, and the yellow corgi could hardly wait to share this unforgettable adventure.